Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First off, I'd like to say, Call Halal, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me. Also, would like to say peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, the Akim that's pushing his word in all sincerity and faith throughout the four corners of the earth. Just back with another lesson. And I was just meditating on how, man, Moab, I know to me, man, of the heathen nations, they got to be one of the most proud. Just, man, I really have a disdain for Moab. And I know King David, because the tabernacle of David is being raised back up right now in the last days as before. He had all of these heathen nations, whether it be the Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white people, or who you would know of in the scriptures as Moab, which today would be so-called Chinese, and these, the nation of Moab, they go back to the children of Lot. Lot, after the deliverance out of Sodom, he had his two daughters with him, and his eldest daughter, laid down with him, got him drunk when you go into the account. And Moab and Ammon were the children that came from that incestuous encounter, But going back into Moab, man, they been getting on my nerves lately. I know the Biden administration passed like some hate bill, for them like last year, but they just somehow leapfrogged the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And, they thinking in the back of their mind that they're going to set up a foothold over in Africa and Nigeria, but Moab is not next, man. They serving our people all of these different abominable foods, even the stuff that they classify as things that would appear to be lawful. We know they're known for cooking, animals, namely cats, dogs, rats, so on and so forth. They got all of these different sweatshops over there, just just low to no labor and just making everything that we consume over here, man. But the conditions of the people over in China, man, they're just totally just in a cattle state, even more so than even here in America. They're totally ingrained into the whole new digital wave. But not to ramble off, I just wanted to just really just ran on Moab, man. I cannot wait till the Most High sets us back up in power and we can put Moab back where they're supposed to be. Because they be proud and they don't even know what's going on a lot of the times. They just always feel and seem out of place. But somehow the Most High at this appointed time has them raised up over us, man. But I'm going to just read, and Lord willing, this to edify before I ramble on too much in my rant, of course. This is Psalms 83 and 2. It says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate me have lift up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee." So this is talking about the heathen nations. And we know Esau, Edom, he's chief and enemy, public enemy number one, of course, to the nation of Israel. But of course, you have these more insignificant nations as well, because, Jacob and Esau, that's the protagonist and antagonist. Those are the main characters. But you still have these other heathen nations round about, who are as the dust of the balance, but they still have their roles in the overall script of the Most High's movie. It says, and it's going to give the names of these heathen nations, the ones especially that have been putting the most hell on the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Psalms 83 and 6, the tabernacles of Edom. And we know Edom goes back to Esau when you read Genesis, the 25th chapter. Esau, Edom, that's the self-proclaimed nation of white people today, according to the seed of your fathers. It says the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, and the Ishmaelites are you so-called Arabs of Moab and the Hagarenes. So Moab, those are the so-called Chinese today. And when you go into the word Moab in the Hebrew, it's Mawa'ab, which means of his fathers. I believe, if I'm saying that the correct way. But continuing on, it says, verse 6, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and of the Hagarenes. And these are Hamite nations. It says Gabal and Ammon. And we know Ammon, those are the so-called Japanese. Moab and Ammon, those are the children of Lot. It says, Salakia, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. And we know that the Philistines were those, so-called Africans, those Hamites, which the so-called Negro is not an African, But just going back to Moab, they are part of that confederacy that made a union along with chief enemy number one, the self-proclaimed white people, Esau, Edom, to come up against the nation of Israel. And that's still playing out today. That very same mode of behavior is playing out today. Even though China and the U.S., they have tensions amongst each other, but they still work in tandem to keep the nation of Israel down so they can stay ruling over us, man, selling things to us, keeping us in a low estate. But I'm going to get... But Moab, man, they losing their mind. They really some proud demons to me, man. I can't stand them, man. I'm gonna just be honest. I cannot wait till the Most High set us back where we need to be so we can put them in proper order, man. Psalm 60 and 8, it says, Moab is my wash pot. So Moab was intended to be the wash pot of the Most High's people, man, really of the earth. Because look at the characteristics in the occupations that, you so-called Chinese usually take on. If you're not over in the country, going through the sweatshop, hardcore, labor game over in China, you over here in America, got a nail shop set up, massage parlors, these different restaurants that serve mainly the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all of these just bad foods, that's what they've mainly been set up to be. But in the kingdom more so, man, we're going to have them under our foot. We're going to have them under our foot in the kingdom. Let's see what that word wash pot means. I'm going to go to the Hebrew in the blue letter, Salakia. So it says Sarah. It says pot, household utensil. Okay, so that's Moab, man. That describes Moab to the T. So Moab was created to be the master servant of the earth, man. Mainly to serve the nation of Israel in the kingdom, man. They're going to be doing some very base tasks along with Esau, Edom. Moab, Esau, Edom, and you Hamites, they're going to be in the worst levels of slavery. The other, like the Elamites, even though they annoy me too, but like the Elamites and like the Ishmaelites and they'll have a better position than Moab and Edom, Moab, and you Hamites. If I could get the order in my own order right, at least, But I'll continue on. Back in Psalm 60 and 8, Moab is my wash pot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. So Moab and Edom are always linked together. And you could tell that, man, prophecy is just playing out, just like the Most High intended it as to be such. Because China and America, they got a history of relations, And it's the same thing to that. They work in tandem, just like the relationship today with the U.S. and China, man. They have to work in tandem. The China has all of those U.S. Treasury bonds. America can outsource all of the labor to bring in and import the consumer goods that China sells. So, you know, Moab and Edom have gotten in bed with each other to create a relationship to get rich and at the same time keep the nation of Israel, in poverty, lending, consuming, building their industries and businesses up. So that's what that shows too. It says, Moab is my washpot, over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia by an irony triumph, thou because of thee. And Philistia, that's just a Greek way of saying Palestine, And when you go into that word, Philistia, and it basically means land of sojourners, which the Israelites were most likely in that land as well. So going to the next scripture, because Moab, man, it seems like Moab has just been skating by, man. You Israelites have been in this country, the Judites pretty much built this place up, the Gadites, the Reubenites, all the tribes, pretty much built up this place and just made this place to thrive. But these damn Moabites have been able to just come here and just set up and flex and just try to jump in and get the same so-called civil rights. They getting bills passed for them, hate bills. But that shows just how the Most High has it set up at this appointed time. But it's going to come a time where we're going to triumph over you proud Moabites, man. Because you just as proud as the damn devil, the self-proclaimed white man, Esau, Edom. But I want to get an account when Israelite, served justice to a Moabite. This is Judges 3:14. It says, so the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. So this shows that the nation of Israel, we've been in captivity under all of these different heathen nations, man. It says the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, for 18 years. Verse 15, but when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Jerah, a Benjamite, a man left-handed, and by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. And it says, but Ehud made him a dagger which had two edges of a cubit length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh. And he brought the present unto Eglon, king of Moab, and Eglon was a very fat man. So you got a fat Moabite, oppressing our people. It says, verse 18, and when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bear the present. But he himself turned again from the quarries that were by Gilgal and said, I have a secret errand unto thee, O king, who said, keep silence. And all that stood by him went out from him. And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from the Most High unto thee. And he arose out of his seat. And Ehud put forth his left hand and took the dagger from his right thigh and thrust it into his belly. And the haft also went in after the blade, and the fat closed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly, and the dirt came out. So it's going into an account I was trying to read, just for time's sake. But he had a weapon planted on him, Ehud, and it says he was left-handed, but he pulled from his right thigh and just stabbed up this fat king, man. But that's who was sent as a deliverer at that time in that situation, to the children of Israel under the rulership of a damn Moabite at that time, who they had served for 18 years, Eglon. The Lord sent Ehud to bring him to death, to bring him to his judgment. So Yahweh Shah ultimately is going to come to, destroy Babylon, and he's going to set these other nations in order as well. That's why the scriptures talk about Yahweh Shah having many crowns, because all of these different nations are going to be put in subjection. It's not just going to be Esau, Edom. Of course, they're going to get the greatest judgment, But these other heathen nations round about, mainly Moab, because they work in tandem with Esau, Edom, man, they're going to be brought down too, man, with a great destruction once Yahweh Shah returns. So with all being said, I just want the rant on Moab, man, because they proud as hell, man. And they just seem to skate by. But the Most High, man, he gonna really do a mighty work to Moab as well. So with all being said, Lord willing, this edified, I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to the elect.